I, 43 female, have a 21-year-old son. My son has a girlfriend he's been seeing for about 5 months now, Amanda, 20. Amanda came for Christmas this year. My other son, nearly adult, has a girlfriend, Mel, who also joined us for Christmas. This was her second Christmas with us. For Christmas, I wrapped 1 full box of coal for Amanda, wrapped it up as a gift. I did the same for Mel's first Christmas with us. Kind of a prank, I'd say. Mel handled it like a champ. She thought it was really funny. The coal wasn't the only gift I got Amanda. I also bought her candles, perfumes, and an outfit for her dog. She dresses her dog up all the time. When Amanda opened this coal gift, her eyes got all watery, and she looked at me and said, "I bought you a really nice gift," and walked out. I followed her out, telling her I got her other gifts, and it was just a joke, but she got in her car and left. My son took the gifts I bought her so we could bring them to her house, but Amanda's really upset about this, I guess. I do feel slightly guilty because she bought me a necklace and some pots and pan kitchen sets, but I don't think I'm the idiot. It was just supposed to be a funny joke, and I had bought her other gifts. Am I the idiot? She got really upset when seeing this and left Christmas crying over a funny joke. Info. What was the joke? Please explain this prank. The joke is this 43-year-old grown woman is so insecure about her son having a partner that she has to humiliate her publicly to assert her last dregs of power as she becomes increasingly powerless and irrelevant in his life. It's a hilarious joke. Also, wow, those listed gifts. You got her candles, perfume, and coal. She got you a necklace and pots and pans. She broke the bank for you, and you gave her contempt. You are the idiot, OP. Pranking people like this isn't funny. She worked hard for your approval, and you gave her a gag gift, which means she's naughty and you don't like her. Wow, great way to welcome people into your family. That poor girl. This broke my heart. I can't believe you saw her reaction and tried convincing her it was a joke. What a horrible thing to do. She bought you so many nice things, and you got her a candle and coal? You should be feeling more than slightly guilty. It's your first Christmas with her, and you decide to prank her? Not your brightest moment. If you started with a lump of coal, what was going to be next? A scorpion? A steaming pile of dog poo? Don't be surprised if you don't get along with whatever daughter-in-law you end up with. I bet your son doesn't bring his next girlfriend around for a long time. Also, not only did it really hurt her feelings, but how embarrassing. I can't imagine what I would say if someone did that to me. Just being put on a spot with a family I don't know. Awful. You're 43, not in a college sorority. Get out of that hazing mentality. The real question is how your son handles it. For her sake, I hope he stands up for her. Otherwise, the relationship is doomed. I'm 21 and my friend is 20. We've been friends for 10 years. Our families are very close. However, she tends to fall in love with every guy she dates and tends to become too toxic. She'll date any guy who gives her attention. Her relationships often don't last very long, with her being far more into the relationship than the guy. She ended up meeting this guy online like 5 months ago. He lives like 3 hours away. He's 27, lives with his mom, and is a loser. She drives to see him every couple of weeks. We were hanging out last week, and she mentioned that she'd gotten her period. I said, "That sucks." And she said, "You have no idea. Boyfriend and I are trying to have a baby." I was like, "What?" She goes into this elaborate fantasy about how they're going to live with his mom to save money to buy a house while she's pregnant, and that they're going to get married, and how bad his mom wants grandkids. I went over the million reasons this is a horrible idea with her, and she had a reply for everything and didn't want to hear it. Now, she also lives at home, and it's her mom's car that she drives to see him, so I ended up telling her mom. She and her mom got into it, and her mom took her car away. I didn't want to tell on her, but I just couldn't let her do it. Am I the idiot? Edit. She has BPD. Not the idiot. To decide to have a kid under those circumstances is frankly insane. And given that she doesn't live on her own and doesn't support herself, her reckless decision would have affected more people than just her. Bringing in her mom was the right choice. This was above your pay grade as a friend, and another trusted person was needed to help your friend see sense. Really sus of the boyfriend's role in convincing her this was a good idea. And why is his mom so invested in her stay-at-home son to have a kid of his own? This didn't just come from her mental illness. OP, she doesn't have the resources or the maturity to be a mother. And as you've stated, he doesn't sound like a good parent either. Honestly, her feelings are not important here. You've done a great thing and hopefully prevented her from ruining someone's life. I went through a similar situation with my friend when her ex had previously cheated on her and she was trying to have a child with him. Children need consistency in their lives, and it sounds like they've been dating long enough to know whether or not they're committed to being parents. You made the right call, and the mother made the right call. Also, I guess she doesn't own a car if her mother takes it away. Maybe she should be saving up for her own car rather than a child. I've been with my husband for over 15 years now, married for 2. I moved into his family's house with him when we were both 16 and developed a close relationship with his mom. So close to the point that I even call her mom. My husband has an older sister and a younger brother. His younger brother's married, but his wife and I never got along. We've had a lot of issues in the past years ago, and it got really bad to the point where my husband and I moved out of his parents' house and cut off contact with everyone. Fast forward to the present time. His brother's wife has tried to make amends with me multiple times over the years, and we both have kids now, like buying me and my husband and our kids gifts for Christmas, reaching out via my mother-in-law, etc. But I wasn't having any of it and refused to have any contact with her or allow my kids to have any contact with her kids. She is 3. My mother-in-law hates that we don't get along and that she has to have 2 celebrations every holiday since she can't have everyone together. She tries to stay neutral and not take sides, but it's obvious that she just wants her family to be together again. My daughters, kindergarten and toddler, stay with my mother-in-law from Monday through Friday while my husband and I work. They're at my mother-in-law's house more than they're at ours. My oldest daughter talked to me a few days ago about her week with Grandma. She said she and her sister met some new friends this week and started giving the names of her 3 cousins, the ones we don't speak to. Apparently, my mother-in-law went to visit my brother-in-law and his wife and their kids and took my kids with them since they're with her all the time. Mother-in-law never mentioned this to me, and I presume she wasn't planning on telling me. So I confronted my mother-in-law and asked why she did this, and she didn't tell me. She explained that it's been over 10 years, and she's sick of keeping her grandkids away from each other and having this divide in the family. She said the fact that her sons don't speak has been killing her for years, and she doesn't think it's fair that my kids and my brother-in-law's kids have never met due to some stupid drama that happened years ago. I told her I don't want my kids having anything to do with my brother-in-law, his wife, or their kids, and she needed to respect this, or I'd find somewhere else to leave my kids during the week. She was obviously upset by this. I was talking to my sister-in-law, husband's older sister, and my niece about this, and to my surprise, they think this is kind of an idiot move on my part. They said that they don't think it's fair that my kids won't ever get to build a relationship with their cousins due to some drama that happened over 10 years ago. They also said my mother-in-law is doing my husband and me a favor by watching our kids Monday through Friday without getting paid a cent, and that I shouldn't give her such a hard time. Was this an idiot move on my part? Edit. I couldn't fit an explanation due to the word count, but the drama that occurred between my sister-in-law and me was that she used to constantly talk crap about me and make comments behind my back. One day, I overheard her talking crap about me to my mother-in-law, and I confronted her. She tried to deny what she had said and played the victim. Ever since then, I cut ties with her and my brother-in-law and want nothing to do with them. My mother-in-law's always tried to stay neutral. You are the idiot. You expect to control your mother-in-law's activities 5 of 7 days a week while she raises your kids? You need to accept that you won't approve of everything that happens when you have someone else doing that much parenting on your behalf. If you expect that she would never see her other grandchildren on any of the 250 days a year she raises your children, you're out of your mind. Find other arrangements because I doubt it'll work out for you. All of this, but also, OP, it sounds like you're holding your sister-in-law accountable for something she said as a teenager. You were a teen living in another teen's home, and she complained about you to her mom. You overheard and have decided to create this whole situation. She apologized. She's asked you to move on. What more do you want from her at this point? Move on from it. Yeah, OP is nuts. I get how mother-in-law overstepped, but according to OP, the kids are at our house more than their own. So is mother-in-law just expected to sacrifice seeing and having a relationship with her other grandchildren 5 out of the 7 days of the week, all year, every year? Over gossip that sounds like it happened in their teens or early 20s? Good Lord, I have my tiniest violin ready to play the whiniest song. Might there be a part of you that feels like you would be admitting you were wrong if you accepted their apology? Wrong to let this go on for a decade. It seems very petty. What exactly was said that required you to fully cut off a family member and all their kids for this long? Grow up. A teenager used to talk crap about you. Shock. It's been a decade, and you're holding on to childish resentments for dear life. Plus, cousins are great, and your kids like them. My wife and I have 4 kids. The teen daughter is mine from a previous relationship, and the young teen stepdaughter is from my wife's previous marriage. We have a nanny for all of the kids. My stepdaughter went out with friends and asked our nanny to pick them up at 2. The younger 2 were asleep at 2, so she left them at home alone with the oldest and went to pick the stepdaughter and her friends up. At 2:30, the nanny called me and said that the stepdaughter and her friends weren't in the car yet and kept saying almost done when she asked where they were. The younger 2 were up by 3, and she didn't want to leave the oldest alone with them. I told her to call stepdaughter and say she had 5 minutes to get to the car or they were walking home, 2 miles. I got a call from my stepdaughter maybe 20 minutes later, asking me to call them an Uber because the nanny left them. She didn't mention a warning, so I called the nanny and confirmed that she had called stepdaughter. She sent me a screenshot saying that my stepdaughter missed 5 calls from her and read a text warning them that she'd leave them if they weren't in the car in 5 minutes. So I called my stepdaughter back and told her they were going to have to walk. Stepdaughter got home close to an hour later and was furious with both our nanny for making them walk and embarrassing her in front of her friends and me. My wife thinks her daughter should have been punished, but I shouldn't have made her walk. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Actions have consequences, and she found out the consequences. Let's not forget the timeline. Stepdaughter asked to be picked up at 2. At 2:30, nanny called mom and told her that she had 5 minutes to get to the car she was walking home. So it was already 2:35 when the nanny left. By the time she rings requesting an Uber, it's going to be 2:50-ish. That's 50 minutes late. That's entitled behavior and needs to be nipped in the bud. Nanny is not a slave or chauffeur. This put her in a difficult position, and your stepdaughter took advantage of it and sounds spoiled. I had to walk to school every single day. She could walk home one day. I'm glad she was embarrassed. She deserves it. She's learning to be punctual and that not everyone will wait for her. As long as it's a safe walk, let her be mad, but hopefully she'll learn better. As someone that employed nannies for about 7 years, this is a quick way to lose a good one when stepdaughter treats her like that. Wow, it blows my mind that it's a big deal to expect a teenager to walk 2 miles in a relatively safe area in the middle of the afternoon with friends. Unless the weather was treacherous, what privileged bubble do these kids live in? That's ridiculous and so entitled. This may scream entitlement to some, and I totally get that. A part of me feels the same way. I've 29 female, been married to my husband Jack for 10 years. 6 months ago, Jack got into a really bad car accident. He was in a coma for almost 5 weeks and currently has PT 4 times a week, as well as a visiting nurse who comes by twice a week. I've been working 60 plus hours a week while 7 months pregnant. I found out I was pregnant a week after his accident, and I keep coming up shorter and shorter every single month for rent because not only did they up the rent by $400, but Jack's medical bills are getting more expensive as well. I can't afford anything anymore. So I qualified for EBT just last week, but last month I was served an eviction notice. I knew it was coming. I'd been paying what I could, $500 here, $700 there, but the landlord ultimately decided that it hardly covered a portion of the rent, and had me served. I was able to get a 30-day extension from the courthouse because of my husband's condition, so I now have 27 days to find somewhere else for us to live. Jack's sister, my sister-in-law, 46, offered us a room. She has 3 extra rooms. One is her daughter's playroom, and the other one is her office. The 3rd bedroom is downstairs, right in front of the front door and next to the bathroom. So it was honestly perfect, and I was so stupidly excited that I won't have to bring my disabled husband to a homeless shelter. We have no other options. So I thanked her profusely. This was a week ago, and started packing our stuff in my downtime. Well, she texted me this morning and said she changed her mind. She said that she and my husband's young teen niece wanted her own room for when she came to visit, twice a month, and she gave her the room instead. As an alternative, she started sending me Facebook ads for housing that was just as expensive as what we're paying now, knowing I couldn't afford it and didn't have any money at all for a down payment. I have $50 to my name. The savings are depleted. I just didn't answer her because it destroyed me. Well, she texted again just a minute ago and said, "You can't be angry at me, it's my house." While feeling incredibly hurt, panicked, and everything else I was feeling, I texted back and said, "I truly could not see myself having any contact whatsoever with you for a while." At which point she said I was childish. So I doubled down and said, "Scratch that. I won't be having contact with you anymore." I'm being told I'm in the wrong by my mother-in-law, who lives in a nursing home. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. We all know, but family gets used as a BS reason for all kinds of things. But you know what? Unless there's some major history between Jack and sister-in-law, this is when she deserves a big old heap of shame for how she's treating her own brother. I can't imagine sending a disabled sibling to a homeless shelter, especially if there's room in the house that accommodates his needs. No one ever forgets how people treated them at their lowest moments. Wow, remind me to never take for granted the way my wife, before I met her, put her entire life on pause, took time from grad school, and moved across the country to help her brother's family when he was in a bad accident and similarly disabled as OP's husband. Some people have hearts of gold, and some people just can't be bothered. Does she know how broke you are and that you're pregnant? That sounds like an awful sister-in-law. If she doesn't change her mind, you're better off not talking to her. I'm sorry things are going to be rough for you, but it was an idiot move for her to dangle the room in front of you and snatch it away. How incredibly cruel and callous of her. What is wrong with her? Yeah, OP was drowning, and sister-in-law offered her a hand just to kick her in the face, back into the water with full force right after. I'm just shocked that she'd rather leave her brother, who's suffering from a medical emergency, and pregnant sister-in-law to live in a shelter, to give a room to a person who visits twice a month. Have you contacted social services yet for options? Can your family help you in any way? Call a hotline for help. I really am sorry for your struggles.